Welcome to the Careering Podcast, a collection of rants and reckons on all things career, hosted by author and creator of Careering.19, Melissa Davies, and her partner in crime, Kelsey Ingalls. If you're brave enough, take a seat, settle in and listen as we tackle difficult career and workplace issues. Sometimes we'll be wrong, sometimes we'll be right, but we will deliver it with confidence and a touch of colourful language, so it will at least be entertaining.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Careering Podcast. I am your co-host Kelsey, and I'm here with creator and author of Careering.19, Melissa Davies. Hola.
Bonjour.
Oh, oui, oui. That was horrific, and I apologise in advance.
This was inspired by watching Charles Leclerc Ultimate F1 videos.
I have made Melissa watch F1 so that I have someone to talk to about it.
Yeah, I'm on board with Kelsey's latest obsession. It's great.
It's hot men and fast cars.
Yeah, like what's not to love?
It's also very strategic and I love it. Anyway, that wasn't the point of this question. How are you going? What's your theme of the week?
My theme of the week is... I have not thought of one.
Did you not do your homework, Melissa Davies?
I think that's my theme of the week. I'm thinking about tacos and fast cars now. That's my theme of the week.
Hey, look, that can be it. That's easy. That's super simple. I love it. It's good on you. There's nothing better.
What about you?
My theme of the week is to take a nap. Take an afternoon nap. It's my advice.
Do you have that skill set to nap?
I honestly don't. Do you know what? I've noticed it in the last year. I reckon I've become more of a napper. But I feel like I've got things to do, or I get real nervous that I sleep in the afternoon, I won't sleep at night.
Yeah, I get sleep anxiety as
Yeah,
well.
because that was what I was told as a child.
Yeah.
Was if you sleep in the afternoon, you won't sleep at night. And so now, but like, I don't know, it was about 10 a.m. this morning and I was like, I could do a nap.
That's because you got up early to watch F1.
Yeah, I did. That's okay. That's fine. So that's my theme of the week. Take a nap. Take an afternoon nap. Take time out. Have a nap.
And eat some tacos while watching fast cars.
And eat some tacos. Yeah, 100%. So this week we're doing things a little differently. Welcome to our Fishbowl episode. Basically just got a fishbowl full of questions that we're going to read.
It's not really a fishbowl. It's one of my nana's crystal salad bowls.
Because we fancy bitches.
Also, we love our nanas, as you can probably tell. And this was, a family heirloom.
What better way of doing it? I appreciate it. So we're going to, Melissa's got a whole lot of questions in there. Neither of us actually know what's in there.
No, I literally Googled questions to ask people about their career, cut and pasted them, cut them into individual pieces, folded them up, so I haven't read them either.
So ladies and gents, you're in for a treat. We don't fucking know what's in there. You buckle in. Let's go.
Okay, I'm sticking my hand in the fishbowl. Well, the crystal salad bowl. And the question I have pulled out of the salad bowl is, how do you create motivation for yourself and for your team?
Well, I can't momentum myself, so... Fuck me, really?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, there were some real simple ones in there, I'm sure. Like, this was clearly not one of those.
Read it again.
How do you create motivation for yourself and for your team?
Urgency. Set a deadline. It usually motivates people. Or actually ask people what they want if we hit something. What is it? One of the last conversations I had was everyone wants to go to Vegas.
It's pretty motivating.
Right, that's motivating. Let's roll. I don't know. It's really hard. It's fucking hard. What's your take on it?
Well, I have to be self-motivated because I work for myself. Yeah. So I definitely have days when I'm not motivated. And I think that's where I'm lucky that, because I have a number of hats to wear. I'm pretty disciplined though, I must say.
You are. You're incredibly are.
Yeah, so even if I'm not motivated, I will force myself to do the work that needs to be done, even if it sucks the life out of me doing it. And usually I'll take myself to a cafe that I like or something like that. But overall, for me, motivation is quite easy because I'm building things I really care about. So it's probably a bit easier for me.
Yeah. All right. My question is, what soft skills should someone in your field have?
Question asking skills.
Oh, so fucking important.
Yeah, and it's not taught anywhere.
Oh, no. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. They were like, what happens if the client says no? I'm like, well, that's my cue to ask lots of questions and find out why.
Yeah, that's the start of the dialogue.
It's the start of it. That's the starting point.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to read something about negotiation.
Yeah. But even just basic curiosity, you know. I think about environments like, what if you're a dance instructor teaching little kids and you want to get them to feel relaxed and comfortable when you're meeting for the first time? If you stood there and talked about yourself for 10 minutes, they'd really disengage.
I saw a TikTok the other day and they were like, he was like, the one thing that I've learned about dealing with kids is that they're terrified and shy because you're 10 times taller than them, and there's suddenly this big human talking to them, and you go up to them and you ask them a question and you ask them to give you something straight away, but you haven't given anything to them. So he said it works 100% of the time. I turn up and I go, hi, my name is, what's yours? And he said it works all the time because you've offered them something first. I was like, that's so cute.
It's like serving. I've always thought that conversation is like a tennis match. Someone has to serve to kind of be like, hey, here's a bit about me, and then ask the question, which is kind of like throwing the ball over the net, so someone has something appropriate to respond with.
100%. You can't, the worst conversations are the ones where they just stop dead and there's like, just dead air.
Tinder dates.
Oh my God.
That's the worst one.
Honestly, the worst ones. Like, I swear, like, I don't want to generalise, but I feel like men are far more the bigger culprits of not actually being able to carry a conversation and questioning.
Unless you've dated a guy in sales and then it feels like an interrogation.
Yeah. Then you're like, how much money do you want to take out of my wallet right now? Because I feel like I'm being scammed.
What do you think the soft skills are?
In my industry?
Yeah.
Communication.
Why did you say that with a sad face?
Because it's really hard. And I've realised, again, it's one of those ones where people don't know how important it is, but also they just don't know how to do it. They're just fucking terrible at it. No one teaches you.
Because it's assumed because you can speak.
You can speak. We get taught how to speak, but we don't get taught how to use those words.
Yeah.
And how to...
That's a different medium for communicating.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just think... if you are good at communication, you can actually come to a conclusion that is good for everybody. But a lot of the time we just go into it fucking steamrolling people and going, oh, I've got this problem. And it's like, okay, well, it's not all about you, sunshine. Let's talk about everybody here. And sometimes it's really fucking important.
This one was folded well. What is the culture like at your company? That's great.
It's just you.
It's me. Some days we work hard. Some days we go to the mountains.
Some days we have brunch.
Actually, often we have brunch. We do have lots of working brunches.
Have you had a place before where, like, you've had other people around and it's been a really good culture?
Yeah, I've had lots of environments where there's been great culture, and that's something that I really focus on when I'm leading a team, is culture. And
can you answer me this question though, because culture is a big concept. What does it mean to you? What does the word culture mean to you within an organisation?
It's what's those acceptable norms.
Yeah,
like how do people behave? What is accepted around their behaviour? So it's an intangible in my mind. And
so how do you change that? Because it's intangible. It's really fucking hard.
Yeah, it is really hard. I think I always start with my direct team first, and so I think about an environment I worked in, and I inherited a team, and my predecessor was someone who would take all the work on
rather than
get
people to do the job.
Yeah, and rather than build the team's capability, but it was hard. He would lean in and just take it off everyone, and so they loved him. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, for us to be a high-performing team, we actually all have to do our job. Like, it's the whole, rowing a boat analogy. I can't have one person rowing. Like, we actually all need to row. And my job is to set the direction and bring everyone together and set an environment where there was psychological safety, people could speak up. But when it came to being explicit around culture, I was like, this is how I have to work. High trust, high transparency. If you hide things from me, it will break the trust, and therefore we have a different working relationship. But for us all to thrive, we just need to trust each other, and let's work on that. Yep. And then to get there, we have to be transparent, which means no surprises. If you're having a challenging client engagement, I'm here to support you through that. Like, let's just not hide things.
Yeah.
if we can't do it, we can't do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way, I think.
Absolutely.
So what about you? What's the culture like you can choose your current company or previous companies?
Look, I think culture is something that changes and ebbs and flows all the time. I'm going to talk generally. And it's amazing how one person can affect that was a Freudian slip. Affect, not infect. Whoops.
Like, don't screw the crew. We've talked about this.
Oh, God. How someone can completely influence an entire culture. If you can hear a meowing in the background, it's neither Melissa or I. The fat ginger is back.
He's being a little bitch.
And okay, so my question. Oh, I've just pulled 2.
Actually, you pulled 3 ones on the floor. Rapid fire, go.
Fun time. What kinds of accomplishment? You'd think I'd had gin for dinner.
You should.
What kind of accomplishments tend to be valued and rewarded in your field? What field are you going to pick?
Yeah, I just think I'll do business generally.
Yeah.
I think the kind of things that get rewarded, I think it's the 2 extremes where in a not-for-profit, people get rewarded by impact and the impact their work has on a community or a space or place. Whereas in a for-profit world, the kind of accomplishments are usually revenue or profit-based or individual accomplishments where someone got
growth or
or salesperson of the year or
awards.
Yeah, or they achieved a qualification, like they got their CPA or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're often quite measurable external things. Whereas I think there's a real opportunity to
change what that looks like.
Yeah, and reward good behaviours and growth and learning and capability building and yeah.
Nice.
What do you reckon?
Oh, I think mine's about the same, right? It's like always the awards and the people that you work with and the businesses that you work with and the stories that sort of go with it. I'm just trying to make life better. That sounded real.
You should polish your halo.
I'm so holy. No, you know what I mean? Like I'm in a service industry. I'm in a service business, and therefore I provide a service to help other people do their thing. And so I just want to help. I don't know. Pick a question.
I think it's quite interesting. I've been reading Conscious Consumers, and I have to get on my soapbox for 2 seconds about the not-for-profits versus for-profits. And here in New Zealand, we seem to think that if you're for-profit, you can't be for-purpose. And in the book Conscious Capitalism, it's based on the guy that founded Whole Foods. He's writing it and he's telling the narrative. And he argues and gives evidence that it was only in the industrial era that we had a view of commerce being bad.
Yeah.
And it's actually not the case. Most businesses do exist to serve a purpose. So they serve to add value to their clients.
Yeah, we've turned it into this whole thing where it's just about making money.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, like, you know, my parents haven't owned a clothing store for the last 20 years just because it's about making money. Because they wouldn't have. They would have chosen something else if it was just that was their motivator.
It wasn't
their
get-rich scheme.
Yeah, it wasn't their get-rich-quick scheme, but it was something that my mum loved and it served a community and people have loved that brand and loved them in it for 20 years.
Yeah, and also businesses that are profitable continue to grow and employ people.
Yeah.
They do research and development and they continue to innovate. So I don't understand why we've equated greed with business instead of profit actually being something that's good because it keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyway, back off my soapbox.
Right, pick a question.
Okay. How do you make decisions at work? What is your process?
Yes, no, get fucked.
Why the fuck not, wasn't
Why
it?
the fuck not? Yeah, why the fuck not? I'm a talker. And there's this meme that goes around on the internet that says, don't book a meeting just so you can talk through your decisions. I'm like, oh, but I like bouncing things off people, and I don't believe that I, in my limited experience and knowledge, have the only answer. And why would I ever sit down and go, no, this way? When there are people that I can bring to the table with wholly different lenses on the world and wholly different sets of experience where we can come up with the best answer.
Yeah.
Together. And so my decision-making process is, who are the most important people to help me make the best decision that we can, get them in the room, all right, let's talk it out.
Yeah, so interestingly, I have the same value set as you, actually. There's also research that says women process by talking.
Yeah, so I definitely do.
Yeah, it really helps us move through and get sort of land with clarity by talking things through. So that makes a lot of sense. I find this question amusing because for me, I forgot in my, what do you currently do? I have another job. I'm a professor of practice at the University of Canterbury. And I actually run a 1-day course on how to kill your darlings, which is a course on how to objectively make good decisions. So I use all the tools. I have a whole different series of, I really do have a toolkit of things I can use to make decisions depending on the complexity of it. But I'm very similar to you. I believe in the wisdom of crowds. And if it's a complex decision, I want people smarter than me in the room to solve it. Yeah. When it's my own personal decisions, absolutely, I have my trusted cohort of people. But if it's a really big decision, I will whip out one of the tools in the toolkit and get a bit nerdy on it. So
yeah, and fair enough. Like, I mean, I like to get all different perspectives, bring them all to the table, and then I still make my decision by weighting the different perspectives.
So your decision strategy is we discuss, I decide.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's difference because there is some theory.
If it's something happening to me, then yes. We discuss, I decide.
Yeah.
If it's something that affects the greater good, fully like utilitarian and like what's the best for everybody, as many people as possible.
Well, what's interesting is with decision theory, one of the problems can be timing. So sometimes people spend so much time trying to get consensus that it actually means...
Oh no, I'm not about consensus. I'm just about majority.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is really great because in a work environment, if you have a leadership position where you're expected to make decisions, that ability to be really clear around, I want your input, but I'm going to make the decision is really helpful. Yeah. There's nothing worse than people that would call you to that meeting to have a discussion and no one really knows who's making the decision. Yeah. So people kind of feel like, Am I deciding? Are we, like, do we need consensus?
Who's deciding?
Yeah, what's actually happening here?
Yeah, especially in those situations where not everyone at the table has the context that you have. And so I think it's you've got to make, the person that's making the decision should be the person with the most context of the situation. And
I think it's a really good thing to say to people, can we have this meeting? I just want to bounce some stuff off you. I need to make this decision. Yeah. So everyone else is really clear. They're feeding in and their 2 cents worth really matters. Yeah. But ultimately, you're the one that's going to fall on the sword if you fuck it up. So.
Yeah, that's it, right? The buck stops with you. Yeah. And knowing that is important. Right. How do most people get into your field and what are the most common entry-level jobs? Fucking giving it a nudge.
Okay, I'll talk about governance for this one. Okay. Because I think that's got some clarity to the career path. How do most people get into it? Usually through an unpaid directorship for a not-for-profit or a school or a small business, and through going through the Institute of Directors and spending a fuck ton of money to get a piece of paper, which for some people they love that experience and it's great. Yeah. And for others it's literally tick the box to play this game. Yeah. So bit of paper, and then some unpaid volunteering positions, and then you move into paid directorship roles. Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I'm going to talk marketing in general. The great thing about marketing is that everyone fucking needs it and not many people have enough money to pay for it. So you can get an internship straight, like, while you're studying. Pretty much anywhere. You just kind of got to walk into a shop and go, hi, can I help do your social media? Can I help do your website? Can I help do your things? And that is probably the easiest way to do it. And then you've suddenly got experience under your belt. And that's the biggest barrier for getting a job somewhere. It's always experience. So I think that's probably the easiest way. I have found that if you're going to go into an agency, it's best to try and get in the agency track straight out of uni. It's really hard to transfer from client to agency, but it's a lot easier to transfer from agency to client side.
But the irony being,
you as an agency, you need to have the experience as a client because you better understand your client.
100%.
100%. And so it is really fucked up, but that's how the old school game works. Honestly, it's really, really hard to get, especially if you're going into something like account management. It is really, really hard to get a foot in the door if you haven't had account management experience before. Yeah.
Is there a quote that motivates you?
Yeah, why the fuck not? Kelsey
Ingalls. Yeah.
Oh, I know this is going to sound real corny. It's going to sound really fucking cheesy, but it's the ethos of it, not the actual quote itself.
Okay, we believe you.
It's the idea of fucking aim for the top, aim for it, because no matter what you're going to achieve underneath it, it's still going to be better than where you are now.
Is this the aim for the moon?
Yeah.
And even if you fail, you'll settle amongst the stars.
Yeah, some shit like that. I didn't know what the actual words were, but the theory of fucking go for gold, and if you get bronze, fucking good on you.
Yeah, nice.
That's mine. What about yours?
I have 4,000 of them because I'm a word nerd.
I know. I saw you pick up your phone, and I was like, she's definitely got an album of them on her phone.
Yeah, but I'm only going to go with the one that's on my Facebook page, which absolutely sums up how I live my life, and always have done actually, is you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. And it's a Mae West quote, and I love that. I'm like, go hard or go home. Like, just fucking go for it.
Right. What are your long-term career goals?
I actually don't have any. That sounds really weird, but I don't really have that. My career goals I had smashed out of the park when I was younger. I just want, once I decided to join BOC and work in that space, I was like, I'm going to be in marketing by the time I'm 35. Got there at like 25. And then I was like, oh fuck, now what? And so I guess ultimately I just want to keep doing a portfolio of things that have a really good impact. So I don't really know what that looks like. Goal. Yeah, I don't have specifics.
You want to get the whole mine finished and underway, and
yeah, that's not long term though. That'll happen soon, the next couple of years.
Fair enough.
What about you?
Oh, honestly, I haven't sat down and thought about it either.
You're like surviving.
Just surviving. Just got to get through it. I don't know. I think, we all know my theory on goals and goal setting. I'm okay now. I'm good living in the short term because fuck knows what else is going to come up in the next 5 years. The last 5 have been insane. It's only, I swear as we get older, it only gets worse.
Yes, I agree with that. I am testament to that. Where do you see your industry going in the future?
Oh, that's a heavy question. I think there's going to be so we deal a lot in digital, but brand and all sorts. We do all of the different things, all the different sort of outputs of marketing and creative and digital. And I think there's going to be a real reckoning for what a website looks like for a business and what that website does for a business in the next 5 to 10 years and what that means as a service that we offer, because there are so many good, bad, ugly options at the moment. I feel like there's going to be something there's a big upheaval in that space, and I think it's going to change quite a lot.
Great. It'd be so nice to have websites that actually provide value to clients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's
excellent.
Yeah, I think there's something's going to happen there. Yeah. What about you?
I just can't decide which hat to put on. Where do you see the industry? Maybe I'll stick with governance. I think there's a genuine shift in the governance space to create more pathways for people that don't have an accounting or legal background.
Or aren't an old white guy.
Yeah. New Zealand stats on the lack of diversity on our listed companies, our boards of listed companies, is really, really bad.
Yeah.
Whereas in Australia, the Australian Institute of Company Directors, who I follow most of their content, they're really, really good. They're leaps and bounds ahead of where we are. They've had a target in place, and they name and shame any ASX listed company that has an all-male board.
Amazing.
Yeah, they've been really focused on it, and it's not at 50-50. It's sitting at around 36% in Australia. We are so far behind that. When they started that piece of work in Australia, we're at that point still.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. Oh, this is a big one. Oh, Jesus. Can you recommend trade journals, magazines, or professional associations which would be helpful for my professional development?
So I guess that's assuming someone was wanting to get into the field that I was in.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any... I really struggle with joining associations and networks because I have so many different hats. I could be in 7 different ones in any given week. So for me, it's quality over quantity. And I think that should be the lens that we always look at where we invest our time. But I've certainly found it's been the networks that I've created where we've formed informal networks have been really awesome. So there's a group of sort of marketing experts and strategists here in Christchurch that are wonderful people, and we just get together informally for drinks and to talk shit a few times a year, and I get power out of that network. So it's finding people that have know-how and skill sets that you don't have and forming a regular catch-up with them. I think that sometimes there's more benefit in that than being part of all of the different industry groups, unless there's ones that you think offers you the opportunity to meet those kinds of people.
I was part of a crew of people in Wellington who we can't, especially early in our careers, can't afford to pay the marketing association like ticket fees to get into some of the events. So we went fuck it and set up our own marketing meetup, and it went fucking gangbusters. I think we ended up with like 1,000 or something subscribers every month, and like we could only ever fit like 50 people in, but we kept it going for years, and that was the best way. If it's not there, if it doesn't exist, fucking make it.
That's so weird that we've both formed meetup groups. I formed one in Queenstown and had thousands of people as well. I was like, fire starters.
Well, it's like if it's not there for you, if you're not finding that network, and I think it was a couple of really cool, motivated women in Wellington that I don't even know how we ended up in the same network together, but it was...
Didn't you go to an event where DK was speaking and you guys met at the event or something?
I can't remember. Yeah. But it just ended up being, we had the head of Zero Marketing as our first speaker. And it was just connections on connections, and it just ended up going gangbusters, and it was great.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So if you can't figure it out, do it yourself.
Oh, I like that. I need to meet up with people that wear 7 hats. Oh, this is a good one.
Overcommitted and underpaid, the meetup.
Yes. Passionate and exhausted. This is a great question. Was there a career setback you faced that you later realised was an advantage?
Yeah, when I ended up jobless and homeless and couldn't walk. That was a big career setback. But it taught me a fucking shit ton, and that's how I ended up with the last couple of years of cool shit. What about you?
Yeah, mine was after I left BRC, I moved to this organisation that has such a shit culture, and I got fucked over royally and was made redundant after 7 months, and it was really shit. But the upside was I reached out to my old boss who connected me with a friend of hers who was an executive recruiter, and met with this lady, Helen, the exec recruiter, and she said to me, I don't think you need to be in the industrial space anymore. I think you should be in technology and media. And I was like, interesting, why? And she ran through this whole list of reasons, introduced me to some people, and then the organisation I went to created a job for me. So I moved into publishing, ran an online business unit for them, and it was my first time working with technology products. Had an amazing boss, learnt so much about using really good engaged affiliate marketing and marketing automation. My team were incredible, and it was my first time in that online subscription business, and I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. No supply chain issues. This is great. So yeah, what actually was a shitty experience for a number of months became, one of the best and a real game changer actually.
Good things do come out of bad things, but also bad things suck. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I
won't. What current issues and trends in your field should we all know about and be aware of?
Oh, okay. I'm going to put my tech startup hat on for that one. Yeah, so in the tech world, I think basically there is a narrative that I've said previously that should have 2 founders, you should be doing this, do that, should have to raise capital, your investors will tell you that your valuation is 2 million, they'll try and screw you out of equity. That is one way of doing things. There are so many other ways of taking a product to market. Sometimes it can be within the organisation you work for. It doesn't always need to be going out on your own. And if you are going to go out on your own, I think don't buy into... In New Zealand, we've kind of narrowed our narrative. Yet, if you look overseas, if you look at what's happening in other geographies, there's other ways to run technology ventures, and think about the language you code in, think about, again, your path to market. Just because there's a narrative here doesn't mean it's the only way. So, there's 10 ways to get it right that is viable and fun and could get great funding if that's what you're after. So create your own playbook, but look outside of New Zealand to understand different ways to do things.
Love it.
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, fuck. I guess in marketing, there's so much noise on so many different ways you can do so many different things. And I think my big soapbox is true marketers aren't sitting there freaking out about trends and current issues. They are going back to the core basics and focusing in on what truly fundamentally matters. What is the problem you're trying to solve, and who the fuck are you talking to, and what do they need? And I think you can just get so sucked up into the bullshit of trends and where things are heading that you just lose sight of what the actual core purpose of using any of those new trends or channels or anything. Like TikTok could be considered, this groundbreaking thing in advertising and the way they're setting up their platform and blah, 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 blah. Don't fucking care. If you're not talking to the right people with the right messages, who the fuck gives a shit?
That's exactly what I said pretty much at the Marketing Association event recently. Someone asked a question about TikTok, and I'm like, if your clients aren't on TikTok and your brand isn't a brand that would do well on TikTok, don't fucking do it.
Yeah. It just, it's so easy to watch marketers get sucked into trends, and it just doesn't fucking matter. If you haven't got the fundamentals down, you're going to fucking lose.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
Anyway, that's my rant. That's my soapbox.
I like that. We both went soapbox there now. Oh, I've got two. Right. How do you manage your time?
Not well.
I was going to say with Post-its.
Not well at all. I tend to go to meetings and then try and do things in between them. Look, I have had, I was going to say 10 years and working. It's been longer than that now. Had over a decade of experience, and I still haven't figured out the best way for me to manage my time. I can come back to you when I've figured it out. What about you?
I think for the most part I do this pretty well, and I think it was from being in a sales role when I was really young and I had a massive territory to manage. So unless I got really good at managing my time, I couldn't have actually physically been in all the locations I needed to be in. I had literally had the whole South Island as my territory. And so unless I had a schedule and a plan and how I did things, which is not how I like to live now. But I think I learned some really good discipline then. And I'd say the things I do is, I think I talked about this in our episode with Jen and Jane. I think about the shit I need to get done for the week. What are the big rocks? And everything else is a nice to have. And I absolutely lean into the Mark Twain. If you've got a frog to eat it first thing in the morning. So I do the shitty tasks first, always. So Monday mornings for me are normally, I have no meetings on a Monday morning, and I do all the ugly shit I don't want to do. And then I just feel like I'm winning. Yeah,
okay, I'll try it. What I do like about you, it was after you did the Vipassana.
Yes.
And you came back and you were like, no, number one priority is scheduling and fun and the things I want to do. Yes. And then everything else can be scheduled around it. Yeah. I was like, oh, I like that.
Which is the first time I've ever done that because I'm so responsible.
Yeah.
So this year I was like, fuck that.
No, I liked it. I thought it was cool. If you could do it all over again, would you choose the same path for yourself? If not, what would you change?
Oh, that's such a good question because I don't believe in regrets or changing things. But then on the flip side, I go, fuck, my life would have been way easier if I could have built Hold Mine without having to lose my dad and done it 10 years ago and be so much further down the track. Yeah. But overall, I think, that you learn so much from the up and down sides of experiences. Like,
I'm just like, no pathway in life is just going to be roses and sunshine. And I'd be too fearful to change it in case it was worse. I'm okay as I am now because my luck it would be worse. So no, I'm good. Thank you.
I pulled a question out and I didn't like it, so I've gone again. No, I don't ask you that one.
This is what Melissa does with lollies too.
It is what I do with lollies. Does anybody like the yellow fruit burst?
Ew, no.
My auntie does, actually. It's great. How relevant is your undergrad to your work?
Mine is actually very relevant to my work.
Very relevant?
Yeah. I was talking about the 4 Ps of marketing the other day because, as I just ranted about, the foundations are real fucking important. And I think because I had such practical learnings, and it was across management and accounting. So I had like full finance papers all the way through. I did a double major in management and marketing. And so, like, I did my final strategic marketing paper on the relevance of blogs and the rise of social media. So this was right when Facebook and Twitter and everything was taking off, and how blogs had a big thing, and how blogs weren't going to die, and they were still going to be a thing that was really important to the way that we communicated online.
Nice.
That was like, and I was like, I still stand by that today. SEO would suck without blogs.
It would. Well, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, exactly. You didn't do an undergrad though.
No, I was like, I fucking didn't do an undergrad. And my first qualification was welding, machining and tool making. And that has zero actual applied relevance to what I do now.
But sounds real cool.
But yeah, definitely earns me some cred. I think what it did though is it taught me to look at things from different perspectives before jumping in and doing the work. So instead of being, like, I am definitely rip shit and bust, but
yeah.
I think I'm considered, then I rip shit and bust when it comes to work, because I learnt, how to do the technical drawings, how to do the actual work, and the consequences of not thinking things through properly, because you can't manufacture something.
You can't unweld something.
Well, you can, but it's messy as fuck.
Yeah. You can't unweld it nicely.
No.
What is your greatest career weakness?
Saying I'm not very good at saying no to things, because I always think that could be fun and I could learn something.
And then you end up overwhelmed, and 6 months later you're like, what things can I say no to now because I'm overwhelmed?
And I do say yes to things I just am not going to enjoy, because I see this is like my dating life.
Yeah.
I see the potential and I say yes, thinking
We've all got potential.
Yeah, all of these opportunities could be amazing.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a step back going, what do I actually want and need? So that's been my big lesson in 2022, and I think the Vipassana really helped with that. Yeah. What about you?
And similar, very similar. But I also think I don't know when to shut the fuck up. I think that's one of my biggest issues at the moment. Anyway, what's your question?
How do you maintain work-life balance?
I don't. Next question. I really struggle with it. I've always struggled with it because I don't say no. And I overload myself, and then I end up working and instead of going to the AMP show, like just shit like that. What about you?
I'm way better at it now, but I also love the work I do, so I don't mind working weekends and stuff. But I made a conscious choice when I was in my 20s, no it wasn't, it was my 30s, where I realised I really believe that your brain needs some downtime, and all my good ideas, like Jen said, I think in one of our Quad Pod episodes, our best ideas happen when we're having fun, not when we're working. And so I think it was after I did my sprint through all my qualifications and commuting and all of that, I was like, I'm fucking exhausted. I need to, and I wanted to make sure I didn't fill that time after I finished studying with more work.
Yeah.
So I made a conscious choice to pick up a couple of hobbies, and also then I either work late or I work weekends. I don't do both.
Oh, I like that.
So I at least had some cognitive rest.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I live by that now. But also I work for myself, so I can just give myself a morning off if I want to.
What hard skills should someone in your field have?
Okay, I talk business in general. I think you need business skills. You need to have an understanding of how a business system runs end to end, and you have to have managed a P&L, a profit and loss statement. You have to understand
if you can't
how the money
margins,
works. Yeah, I think that for me. And there's a real gender bias around this. There's a lot of research that talks about how there's a gender bias in certain career paths. So women often move into marketing or into HR roles typically. And it's rare that, unless it's usually only at a senior level, that those roles have some financial accountability. Yet it's those skills that move you into senior executive broader roles, so managing divisions or business units or strategic roles. And so I would really encourage everybody that has an interest in being in a management position in any organisation to build those skills early, even if it means a sideways step. If you can manage a portfolio of products that have to hit certain financial targets or a P&L, I just think, managing that input and output of a business unit is invaluable.
Oh, yeah. Like, one of the most invaluable things I got out of being an account manager was understanding, because you get asked for a budget, you get asked for how much things, so you had to value people's time and you had to understand how long something took, value it, look at what the margin on that person's time was and charge it out appropriately for the client to fit it within their budget that was actually associated to the value of the outcome that they were getting. And so being able to just whip through that and go, oh yeah, charging that for that much work sounds really appropriate, I'm going to do that. And so just being able to understand the value of time was really important and really key skill.
What has been your biggest success factor? What's with that look?
I don't understand the question.
No, I didn't either. I was like, success factor.
The factor of my success.
Yeah. Like what I'm going to interpret it as, what is something that you do that's led to success, to your success? Because otherwise it'd be like, what's been your biggest success in your career or that you've had? But I think it's about, what about you? What is the thing? What is the factor, the thing within you that has led to success?
I'll fucking talk to anyone. Don't give a shit. I'll talk to them. I do not care. There is always a different way to talk to a human being. And I'm not for everybody, but I'll fucking talk to them. And I reckon that has got me further than it should have.
It also makes it really fucking great to be your friend, because I hate breaking the ice. I'm someone who likes to talk a lot to people that I know, but I hate meeting new people. And so when Kels and I lived in Welling, we'd go out on the piss. It was great. Drunk me is super friendly.
Yeah.
But at the start of the night, Kels is friends with everyone. And I just get to ride on the coattails.
And then I get real tired and my battery runs out. I'm like, right, you're up.
Yeah, and then I'm like, hi, friends.
And I sit in the corner and go to sleep.
And then I don't want to go home.
Yeah. What's your success factor?
I think for me, mine has been that I always do what I say I will. So I build trust quite quickly. People trust what I say. Because, I don't bullshit. And if I say I can't do it, I mean it. If I say I can do it, and it'll be done by when I do it. And so I think people just trust that.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
Why do you do your job?
I can't not do my job. I can't. I thought about that when I was this year having an existential crisis. And it was all just getting really hard. And even though things were really fucking hard, I can't not build hold mine and do governance. I actually really enjoy it.
Love it.
What about you?
Because I signed a contract.
Because I get paid. Because I like my boss.
Oh, I think yeah, that. Yeah. I've talked about it before, but I find that I am really drawn to helping people. I do a lot of charity work. I've always done a lot of charity work. I've always done lots of different things, but the fact that I get to work in a job where it is literally my job to help people is fucking great. So that is why I do my job.
Nice.
What's the worst job decision you've ever made?
Dating a colleague. Although once that was a good decision, once that was horrifically life-changingly bad.
So you did it twice.
Yeah, I did. And the second one that worked out well was after the first one that was a disaster. So I obviously didn't learn.
You're like, I'll give it another go.
Yeah, see? I see the potential. Optimism. What about you?
Just getting upset about shit that doesn't matter. I think I got upset about a car park once. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, the shit that you worry about in your early 20s versus when you get into your 30s and you're like, oh, this just, no one died. Chill the fuck out.
Wait till you get to your 40s.
Yeah. I'm just going to be fucking deliriously over it.
Yeah, but that's why I don't get upset by much. I'm just like, whatever. It's not the worst shit I've seen.
Yeah. What qualities do you look for in a friend?
Someone who can talk to people. Who brings good banter, says fuck a lot, always says yes when I put
this
ideas
wasn't
on the table. It's true though, all of those qualities are fabulous. I value them greatly in you. Overall, I think though, when I remember saying this a couple of years ago, all the people that I'm really close to, I take their word at face value. They're really trustworthy. Their integrity is very, very high. And so you never have to worry. And then, like, you know, I remember saying to someone, you know, all my closest friends, if we said, hey, Valentine's Day 2028, we're going to go up the gondola and drink cocktails, meet you at 5 o'clock, all of those people would be there.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't need to check 20 times beforehand and make plans and fuck around.
Yeah.
Everyone would be there. And if someone couldn't make it, they would contact and be, I can't make it for these reasons. And it would just be easy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is what I love about my close friends. What about you?
I think that's it. Like, it should just be easy.
Yeah.
It should just be easy. Things in life are hard. And your friend shouldn't make it harder. Yeah. But also at the same time, people that can actually have a decent conversation about things and you connect with you on multiple levels, on multiple topics, are important as well.
So true.
Okay, one final question. I know I just asked one, but I'm asking another one. One final question.
Go on.
Who inspires you?
So my OG person that I love is Anita Roddick, who founded The Body Shop.
Oh, yeah.
Because she created an ethical business from her kitchen while she was a full-time mum to little kids, and she couldn't find work that would enable her to work while managing her family and was ethical. And so she did it all by herself.
That's awesome.
And then she turned it into a multi-billion-dollar company. She was fucking amazing. So I love her. I love her vision, the way she set that up, all of that. So she's my OG. I love her. What about you?
I think at the moment, right now, it's going to be a bit cliche, but I really love what Lizzo's doing in the world.
Oh yeah, I love her too.
At the moment. From one big bitch to another. Like, it's just fucking great that someone's just like, fucking fit in or fuck off. Deal with it. I don't give a shit. And I just love it. I think it's really cool.
Yay.
Yeah.
I also love Lizzo. I think everyone should love Lizzo. She's just fucking epic.
Okay, let's wrap up this episode with our tweet of the week. What have you got for us, Melissa?
I have got one from @YSKOLD, which I'm guessing is I is cold. I don't know. I'll ask 20 questions until a situation is understood. I don't have time to navigate life confused or under any wrong assumptions. Communicate with clarity, please and thank you.
Love it.
Me too. What's your TikTok?
So I have a TikTok from, I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's going to be linked in the bio. But this is just how I'm going to finish this week off.
The only thing that really keeps me going is knowing that if I have a bad day, I'm going to give myself a little treat. And if I have a good day, I'm going to reward myself with a little treat.
So, key takeout, reward yourself with a treat.
I like that.
So thank you so much for listening in to our Fishbowl episode, or our glass lettuce bowl. Crystal lettuce bowl?
Crystal salad bowl.
I was close. It was the Kmart version of a crystal salad bowl is a glass lettuce bowl. Anyway.
Which is probably what I would have, but this was my Nana's.
Yeah. Thanks, Nana. Thanks for listening in. Hopefully you found some of the responses to those questions interesting. If you've got any questions or things you want to know, send them our way. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, email. We love hearing from you guys, so please send them on through. As always, we are releasing episodes regularly on Spotify, Apple, Google, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. So give us a subscribe for automatic downloads and rate us 5 stars while you're at it. And until next time, get out there, back yourself, and stay curious, motherfuckers.